A New Hope, Nier Chapter 140 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for listening and patreon.com/Azazyel to read all of Azazyel's stories. It was time. I had recovered all my aura and magic and was generally in peak form. While YoRHa had pulled hundreds of their battle units from the Tallon IV and Remnant fronts to form a large squad of elite warriors with their auras unlocked along with a number of Remnant Hunters and Huntresses who had come to work within the YoRHa for various reasons. "Jake, it is time," White spoke into my earpiece and I took a breath and I nodded in readiness. Jean walked over to me having been teleported over from Remnant and our hands came together. I felt her semblance fill my body with power and clarity as my own semblance of gap manipulation became ever clearer to my human mind that couldn't naturally process such an eldritch thing. "I can only keep this going for a good minute at most, Jake," Jean told me seriously, as out-of-atmosphere portals were the most ruinously expensive thing we could do with my gap manipulation for some reason. "All right," I whispered as I cast my mind outwards following the mental pictures of the interior of the long solace of night that White had shared with me via the hidden drones. They got close to the bridge of the ship. Then using Jean's own aura stores I ripped a large tear in reality in front of the air with eyes and teeth filling the swirling darkness hole I tore open. And although the hunters paused at the sight, the YoRHa androids didn't hesitate for but a moment as they charged in silently through the gap I created in the air which would lead them onto the ship's main bridge. The hunters and huntresses then charged in. I let go of Jean's hand, who sunk down into a crouch with sweat crossing her brow as she lightly panted and shivered at the feeling of her aura being on the verge of emptiness. "You stay here," I said gently while patting Jean on the shoulder as I brought the gap to close behind me and I charged in with 2B and A2 at my back. There was a split moment of feeling gravity losing its grip on us, and then my feet collided with the metal floors of the Covenant ship, and as my head came out of the portal I heard the sound of battle in the vicinity. High-end Covenant elites, being the honor guards of the Prophet, fought with great ferocity, giving the YoRHa forces of androids and the aura wielders of Remnant no quarters. But with aura that could block plasma fire to a decent extent, they were losing the battle as the elites' plasma weapons were beaten aside by Hunter and YoRHa grade melee weapons. "Hunters!" I heard an android yell and I looked at the entrance of the bridge to see 4 large hunters rambling in, but before they could fire their massive plasma launchers at us, one of the plasma launchers abruptly exploded in a catastrophic misfire, killing the wielder and greatly injuring the other 3, while I heard someone groan as my lips twitched seeing a scythe-wielding older man cutting down an elite. "Huh, Crow is here as well," I thought with a mental chuckle as I realized the misfire was Crow's bad luck semblance going to work. Either way, I didn't just stand there and leap into the battle as I coated my sword Virtus contract and my body with lightning as I targeted the elites with my lightning-covered sword going through their overshields without much issue due to my lightning overloading the energy shielding meant to protect against solid projectiles. In not even 2 minutes we purged the entire main bridge of the long solace of night, super carrier of the Covenant. And then YoRHa scout, operator, and defender units got to work hacking into the ship systems, sealing off the massive door to the bridge, and activating its energy shield to block forceful entry. And then came the dirty business of this mission. The systematic purging of life support, if not outright venting of the atmosphere across all of the ship to eliminate all life upon the ship. YoRHa refused to take prisoners as not even the Prophet on board actually had any real value once captured. The engineering bay, the medical bay, the munitions bay, and lastly the Prophet's quarters are on separate systems specifically meant to keep saboteurs from taking over the ship completely. We cannot space those sections. One of the blonde operator units spoke out from where they had jacked themselves into the systems of the control boards lining the ship, and I hummed in thought before looking over at Samus. "Samus, take A2 and some D units and purge the munitions bay before they can detonate them to deny us," I ordered before looking over to the Crow, who was seemingly the leader of the hunters with his strong reputation as Ojpin's Reaper. "Crow, you take some scout units to secure the engineering bay. They can fight and secure the area technologically to make sure there aren't any surprises. I will go take care of the medical and then the Prophet himself," I ordered, and then spun on my heel with 2B silently following, as White also had a couple of battle and executioner models follow me for the task ahead. While I was walking away I heard Crow call out, "All right, but you owe me a favor for this. Jake, Ruby, and Young almost hitched a ride here, but they ain't ready bandit cleanup yet." He spoke gruffly and I stood there silently for a moment before nodding in agreement, as neither Ruby or Young were blooded against sentient beings. Especially in this scenario where we were committing genocide.